Whether it's the unique songs coming out of the ABC generation or the hauntingly beautiful Ornob albums, the 2000s were a special time in Bangladesh music. From Habib to severe dementia, Fuat to Nemesis, stoic bliss to power surge. Wherever you looked, there were new bands and even newer sounds. But that deserves an entire series of Netflix documentaries dedicated to it. This is about now and the future of Bangladeshi music. This is the new wave. Bangladesh has seen a rise of bands and artists exploring sounds that are rarely heard in the country. Take jazz, for example. Other than a few artists, there weren't many even experimenting with jazz. Somewhere in the late 90s, amidst the amazing metal, rock, and modern pop acts, jazz got lost. Enter the Imran Ahmed trio.
Our first project was actually a trio. তখন আমি একটা ড্রামারের সাথে বাজাচ্ছিলাম তুর্য ভাইয়া, and we formed a band with a bassist. ওই সময় I had a lot of influences because music school I was studying, Carnatic music, and there was a little bit of jazz. There was a lot of ideas. So এখানে এসে it was mostly like connecting those ideas and make music, right? So যখন I started using some of those ideas and put them in a compositional form, it really worked, and it opened up this space to be able to improvise. And that sounded very different because when you use these ideas, these things become yours. Like if I use some Carnatic rhythm or some jazz ideas, তখন me having different inspirations, like ছোটবেলায় আমি যেগুলো বাজিয়েছি, তারপর আস্তে আস্তে all these kinds of music I listen to, ওগুলোরও একটা impact থেকে যায়. So তখন these ideas start to sound really original. And তারপর আস্তে আস্তে we started presenting those music in live shows, and the appreciation was massive. Considering আমরা মাত্র শুরু করেছি, and already playing sellout shows, like EMK-তে আমরা একটা show করেছিলাম, there was a lot of people, and people were saying like, this is really different music, you guys are starting something, you guys started a new scene, and now we have a jazz scene. So that was really motivational. So ওখান থেকেই it evolved, and it still keeps going on.
The jazz group is one of the very few internationally touring artists from Bangladesh and have so far toured in India, Malaysia, Poland, and Germany. If not for jazz, what the local scene has been popular for is the heavier side of music.
Music for me started back at home. My uncle used to play the guitars. I mean, he was the first one to, be associated with band music. Before that, all of my family members, most of my family members were, trained in classical. And I used to find that so boring when I was young. Yeah, it's very tough to get kids, even now, to get into classical music. But we really, found band music very interesting, the guitars and drums and whatnot.
My introduction to music was Michael Jackson, and I grew up watching his movies, the films that he made for his songs. So that inspired me, and that really got me into music.
if you listen to our first album, Finding Cooper, it's really a very conceptual album. It's a very conceptual album. So it's most of the songs are instrumentals and fewer they have lyrics. So most of them are about what the average person faces in their lives daily. It's about finding the human identity. So we talk about a variety of things regarding the struggles us humans have to face in society, in this world right now. So it's our everyday lives, what we go through as a person, as a musician, as a normal human being, what we go through, and the stuff that builds us, the stuff that builds our character. These are the stuff that inspires me.
Bands like Attic and Headline have introduced themselves through impressive EPs and albums and their captivating live performances. Their songs aren't typically Bangla, nor are they as heavy sounding as their predecessors. Instead, choosing to stray from the popular Bangla rock sound we've grown so accustomed to, Attic leans more towards the indie rock sound, whereas Headline can be categorized under experimental post-rock. You know that the mainstream is paying attention to the new wave when Fuad goes to Gan Bangla's Wind of Change to do a classic rendition of his famous Tumihina, but instead features a brand new face.
I was 17, and before that, I didn't have any identity. I wanted to look and find for my own identity what I am, what I want to do in life. So that was the time that I was like experimenting with a lot of things. I started like painting, I started karate, and I started music, all three at the same time, because I wanted to discover what I really want to do. Me listening to discographies of each artist and diving into them and learning about their history helped me be what I am and helped me be interested in music. And Uttar Poreto, of course, there were shows called X Factors, Britain's Got Talent, America's Got Talent, and I used to watch them. Audition korto, Frank Sinatra, Fly Me to the Moon gaito, tarpor puran moran jotogula gana sobguloke recreate kore cover korto, and I used to sing along with them because it was fun singing along and trying to play around with my vocals, and I'm like, ah! I used to strain it a lot, and thank God amar mama ka jhata mere ber kore nai. So yeah, that's how it started.
Nazifa isn't the only female act ramping up the scene. Pragata Nauha, who goes by Nauha and is also the lead vocalist for the band Hades, has recently gained an online following for her latest work, Kalo. And its video has even turned a few international heads, claiming several awards from overseas.
My parents got me into classical music when I was like 5 years old. So they continued it for 6 years, and then afterwards I kind of got so tired because it's like a constant routine je prottek din eshe riyaj kora and then ota 2 ghonta dhore hobe, so I hated it. But then after that stage was over, I guess I had a gap for 2 years, and then I realized that I really missed music, and that's when instead of picking up a harmonium I picked up a guitar, and then I just started songwriting and picking up songs. I think it was back when I was 11, and it was a school night. So I was supposed to be asleep by 10 p.m, but I think I was like awake till 2 or 3, and I just sat there with a piece of paper and a pen. And I was already like singing with every chance I got, but just that one time I just sat down and wrote lyrics, and then I sang it. And then it was horrible, but I knew that I could do better. So I guess from that day, I just knew that I was gonna keep doing this.
Although these talented individuals make it look smooth, becoming a musician in Dhaka doesn't come without its challenges. From a lack of logistical support to repetitive venues to social taboos, young musicians have to fight these obstacles on the daily to have a shot at their dreams.
The main problem over here is like they're versatile listeners. Like a lot of people listen to English music, Hindi music, and Bangla music as well. So people are really, scattered. Like they don't have a direction or anywhere like to go. That's one of the challenge. Like, but they're all their preferences. But rather than that, like we need more shows, I guess. Like we get to more interact with people. You know, not only for the music, just maybe for the dance and the comedy clubs and everything. We should interact more with people.
In Bangladesh, it's very hard to get hold of very good gears. So that's a very, very important aspect of being a musician in Bangladesh and having good quality gears around us.
Have to put in that much time, we need to get paid as well. And ticket sales are an option, but you know, we want to give a structure to this scene, because if you see big concerts, they have big sponsors and everything. Amrao sponsors manage korei show kori, but you know, to play every week and finding new venues. And Dhaka is such a small place, because আপনি যদি একদিন গুলশানে একটা জায়গায় বাজেন, গুলশানের 400-500 ক্রাউড এসে আপনার শো দেখে গেল, তারপর কিন্তু তার পরের উইকেই বাজালে কিন্তু they might not feel like it, যে আমি তো লাস্ট উইক দেখে আসলাম, আচ্ছা আমি এর পরের উইক যাব. So you know, the scene is very small and less artists and less venues, so that's the problem we have to solve. We just need more venues and more artists so that there are more shows, and hence the scene expands.
I remember this conversation between my uncle and my grandfather. My uncle was trying to convince him to, you know, encourage us to learn music and whatnot, and he was like, first let them finish their education. So that would mean I'd be 25 or 24 and then I'd be picking up a guitar, and that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so I really appreciate my uncle encouraging us and pushing us, you know, to take on music at a very early age.
There's lack of platforms here for every artist, and metal bander, metal rocker জন্য আলাদা, underground music একটা, তারপর indie, rise of indie people and artists ওটাও হচ্ছে and whatnot. So it's like ভেঙে আছে.
Even if there's a good gig coming up, you would have problems with the organizers or issues relating organizations, and it always happens. So you would think it wouldn't, but it comes up somehow from somewhere.
We invest a lot of money into our instruments and practicing and everything. So money is a concern. So গান বিক্রি করে, অ্যালবাম বিক্রি করে এখনো টাকা তোলা যায় না. So the only way we get to earn money is, you know, play live concerts. মানুষ আসে, মানুষ টিকিট কিনে টাকা দেয়. So we get a percentage of that.
I mean, the organizers, they expect all the bands to, you know, perform for free, and this has sort of developed a mentality for the bands that, you know, they're just starting out, or maybe it's been like a year or two they've been performing professionally, and it's just okay, it's a normal thing to be not paid, you know, and treated like you're not that much big of a deal or something like. I mean, you don't have to make them feel like they're the king of the world, but there should be an equality.
I would say I faced a lot of nepotism that kind of stunts the musician when they're trying to grow, and I felt a lot of lack of commitment from the previous producing houses that I've worked with, and just the distance of accountability and management. There's just none whatsoever in this industry, especially for individual artists like me.
They're still very skeptical, and I don't blame them, because you know and I know how it is out here, and they know it without even being here. My mom did send me, so that was like her pushing me to do something else besides studying. But when I picked it up for good, she got scared, because she saw how much I'm working and how much I'm putting effort to this, and she was being like, it might not work, you're putting a lot of effort into this, you know how it goes in this country. So they still are very skeptical, but they don't stop me.
Well, at first they were skeptical, but since they know that I can be capable of making music or be sticking to this particular area, they started supporting me, and that actually helped me a lot. They gave me a lot of space that I needed to explore myself and to make music. That is a lot of hardship that they went through. Like, listen to loud music at night is a very, very hectic thing, and they were okay with it.
But it's not all doom and gloom. At the end of the day, for musicians, it's all about creating something new and building an audience who love what they do. This is what drives them day in and day out.
One of the greatest things about music is you get to verbalize these thoughts and emotions that are quite difficult to communicate.
We want to make music that the audience connects with, and so we also enjoy playing, and it keeps on going. It's a journey.
Like, since the time I started, like, I had my first show with this band, and in the stage what I experienced, and that is a kind of feeling that I cannot explain, but that really like changed, like made this all a perfect sense. This is what I'm gonna do.
Playing live is a different feeling, you know. It's completely different. I'm sorry.
People inspire me to make music.
It makes you feel superhuman. So that is what I chase, and that inspires me.
My performance depends on the energy that the crowd has.
I always wanted to permanently encapsulate my feelings through my songs, and because this has turned into a sort of coping mechanism for me. I don't really know how else to express myself other than art, music being the most fluent.
My ultimate dream as a musician would be to play in front of like thousands and thousands of people in a place like Wembley Stadium or Royal Albert Hall.
It's a dream playing Glastonbury. I don't know, because I really want a band to reach over there. Like, just not only Army Stadium in Bangladesh.
I just want the songs out so that I can tell that, yeah, we worked on something and we published it. You either publish or you perish. So
this adrenaline rush when I'm playing on stage with Haque.
It's a good vibe that I can sing my heart out and be like, yes, letting it all out.
To never quit making music. I want to play on stage even when I'm 70 or 80. I don't even mind, playing, sitting on a wheelchair.
Despite the challenges, the scene is showing no signs of stopping. Whether it's the hip-hop movement in Comilla, representing Bangladesh in North America, or gifting us with some kick-ass music videos. And that just goes to show that the handful of artists we covered are just a tip of the iceberg. Because this is the rebirth. This is the new wave.